This Adventure for Life. I'm Joel. Welcome to day 19 of the Grenadier 15,000 mile cross country trek. You see I'm at Circle K in Fairbanks, Alaska. It is 6:30 a.m. and look where the sun is. I mean, that's probably, I don't know where it would be typically, but still pretty low in the sky, but it really never got dark last night. Anyway, today is the assault on Deadhorse. So it's supposed to be a 12-hour and 15-minute drive. Having said that, I've been told that there's construction on the highway. It's supposedly mostly asphalt, so we'll see if we end up making up any time. See you along the road, headed to the top of the world. By the way, the obvious reason I'm at the Circle K is to fill up with gas right before, so we're immediately leaving town right now. You know, this is one of the Grenadier's real weaknesses, range. So got the gas tank full, got the gas tanks on top, got supposedly 2, maybe 3 gas stops on the way up. It's 493 miles to Deadhorse, so in theory you should only have to stop and get gas once. Obviously lots of people are making this drive, so there's enough gas to get you there. The motorcycle guys are carrying gas too, just to ensure. But anyways, see you up the road. Okay, so we're 35 miles in to the journey so far. By the way, the weather is fantastic. It's like 60 degrees, but it feels warmer. This is what we're seeing. I mean, it's all trees, and we're driving through the mountains, just absolutely gorgeous. Now, a lot of the time, all we're seeing is trees, but for sure, it's a very beautiful country. Again, it's 493 miles from Fairbanks to Deadhorse, and it dawned on me, the GPS is saying it's going to take us a little over 12 hours to get there. So if you do the math on that, that's averaging 40 miles an hour. Well, when I left Fairbanks, I was going 70 miles an hour, and I thought, wow, we're going to cut a bunch of time off of this. But the road's good, but the road is bumpy so far. There's a lot of twists and turns. So if you look right there, there's lots of twists and turns. Very little traffic out here. Now, we passed a construction area where they were trying to level out the road, and I think take out some of those bumps, but besides that, we've seen 1 or 2 cars, and that's it. And we passed what we would typically call an 18-wheeler, but in this case, there are some long trucks, and so the truck that we passed earlier that you would typically call an 18-wheeler was actually a 32-wheeler. And then I did see, and we passed several trucks yesterday. They were labeled long load or whatever, but they were 62-wheelers. So that's the story so far. Again, the weather's fantastic. There's no wind whatsoever. Beautiful day. High is 85 in Fairbanks today. High is 60 in Deadhorse today, 72 tomorrow. So it looks like it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. Thought I'd give you a quick shot from on the roof of the Grenadier, hopefully so that we could see a little bit better without the trees in the way. So yeah, I'll give you the 360, I guess. Give you a general idea, but again, the weather is perfect, and there's, interestingly, very few bugs right now, and that's been a real issue. They're just gnats and mosquitoes, black flies all over the place throughout Canada and so far up here, but there's very few right now. Anyway, see you down the road. Okay, I'm standing on the roof again, a little bit different spot. There's a little creek down there, but the main reason I stopped is you could see the Alaska pipeline in the distance there for the first time since we saw it yesterday going across the river. Now it is where I first started videoing off to the right, and I'll go back there in a second. It was coming out of the ground. So you could see a path of trees that had been cut where the pipeline had been buried, but that's where it came out of the ground. I'll give you a quick 360, go in the opposite direction, the way I usually go. By the way, I'm gonna hit the 10,000 mile point in about 100 miles. So the trip is moving on. Again, I'll hit 10,000 miles before we even get to Deadhorse, so it'll be interesting to see how many miles I pile up getting back home. So there's not gonna be too many places to pull off the road. This was labeled the Arctic Circle Trading Post. Now, I don't see that name on the building itself. It says Wildwood General Store. It's closed right now, but appears to be in really good shape, so I assume it's open sometimes. And then you got the old lemonade stand, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, we are going to cross the Arctic Circle sometime today on the road. I don't know that this is actually it. I doubt it. I think there'll be an official sign, but because, you know, it's not unlikely they call this the Arctic Circle, or they obviously do call it the Arctic Circle Trading Post. So anyway, so we've gone about 80 miles so far. We have reached just this marker sign that says, "Welcome to the James Dalton Highway." There are mosquitoes all over the place, by the way. Gateway to the Arctic. The road to Prudhoe Bay, which is where we're going. You see where we started there in Fairbanks. We've already passed Living Good, or the exit to it. We're gonna go through the town of Yukon River and then hit the Arctic Circle, Coldfoot, which I believe is where the gas is, Wiseman, Antigun Pass, and then finally Prudhoe Bay. James Dalton was some kind of civil engineer that worked for the Navy, helped do oil production up here, and just figure out a lot of the places that they ought to run pipelines and drill for oil and build roads and whatnot. And so it was named after him. He was born in 1913, died in 1977. All right, heading on down the road. These people, by the way, are from the National Science Foundation. So we just drove away from that sign, and it reminded me, we've been driving on, you know, unpaved road like this for some time. You know, I've been told there's as much as 40 miles of this 493 miles that is still unpaved. We'll see how much that is. We just, this is crazy. They told us there was construction. So we pulled up to a sign that said, road construction next 18 miles. You know, in the US, that typically means, or in the lower 48, that typically means there's going to be a mile or two of cones and, you know, a few people working on some small area, and that's it. Well, in this case, we waited 15 minutes for a pilot car. Then we followed the pilot car for 32 minutes, going about, you know, anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour. And, you know, so we've covered 10, 15 miles behind the pilot car. Now, they had multiple pilot cars running, and it wasn't like it was down to one lane. They had multiple stations where they were using big equipment to chew up the old asphalt, put it in dump trucks, take that down the road, dump it on the sides of the road so that it provide a better base for the new road, smoothing it out, you know, just doing all kinds of stuff. Now, they were not laying asphalt yet. They were just getting it smoothed out. This could get ugly passing this guy, but we're going to experience it nonetheless, so we'll all know. Woo! just a little dust there. Anyway, that, you know, when they said construction project, they meant construction project. I mean, it was the closest thing I've ever seen to rebuilding a road. By the way, we have also seen a couple of cars that wrecked up here, and they'd been there for a while. So I guess you don't just call a tow truck up and have them come get you. And again, we're only 80 miles in. What's it like 200 miles from here? I hate to imagine what it'd cost to get a tow truck up and pick up one of these cars. But anyway, that's our experience so far. Headed to Coldfoot to get gas, hopefully. I decided to take a quick stop here and give the typical 360 and talk about a couple things. First, I have certainly been using the manual transmission and the, you know, downshifting on the downhill grades. We'll see in a second. There's a sign here that says 8% grade, and you know, I've been going down to 4th, 3rd, every now and then 2nd gear, depending on how steep it is and how steep the grade is. Second, there are some big potholes. So ever since I stopped last time, a nice peek at the sun coming through the clouds, ever since I stopped or filmed last time, you know, I mentioned that it was gravel. Well, it's been gravel ever since, and so I've probably been we've been driving on gravel for 20 miles at least, and I think we've got maybe another 20 miles of it, so maybe that 40 miles was accurate. We'll know at the end of the day. But there's some big potholes. Now I don't see any right here because they're doing road work on this section, but big potholes out here. Finally, it is drizzling just a little bit out here, and it just made me think, man, you would not want to be out here if it was raining, if this was muddy, if this was wet, especially if you were on a motorcycle. I mean, this looks like a lot of fun if you're on an adventure type bike. I don't think I'd want to I would not bring any motorcycle out here that did not have off-road style tires on it, because you wouldn't want to be. I used to have a crotch rocket, and I rode it off-road one time and did not go far at all, and because it was dangerous. Anyway, you'd have to have, you know, wouldn't have to. I would certainly choose to have adventure tires if I was going to ride a motorcycle up here. Anyway, beautiful area here, and since we had such a good view, I thought I'd stop and give you all a look at it. Okay, laugh if you want to, but I bet I've driven 200, 300 yards from where I last stopped and mentioned potholes, and that is a pothole. I can't even see the bottom of it. So the water obviously got into there and, you know, has dug that out. Anyhow, there are some serious potholes out here. The Grenadier, by the way, is doing a fantastic job on all of this. I would not want to do this without a four-wheel drive, without something that was built for taking this kind of terrain or whatnot. And the ride is great. The traction has been great. The gears have been great. So I couldn't be any happier with what I'm getting out of the Grenadier on this kind of terrain, and again would only come out here with that, and that is a great view of the sun peeking through the clouds. Okay, I've probably only gone about 500 yards. That big pothole was halfway up this hill right here, so I've only gone probably 500 yards since then. But here we go. We get to, again, beautiful view out there, but it's so interesting to be out here. I mean, you can just stop and park, and there's nobody out here whatsoever but us. Anyhow, here's a big detour, so this is going to be interesting. You know, the road less traveled, you can think of it however you want to, but it's crazy to be out here and just kind of feel like you're all by yourself, even though you're in a vehicle, and taking the detour. That's real road construction right there. I mean, they're actually building this road. It appears to me that you know, the old road is being maintained, but at least for this section, they are building a new road. And it appeared also that some of this was state funded and some of it was maybe funded by the oil companies. I don't know. We went a long stretch. Another magnificent view. Again, the day is just absolutely gorgeous. It's 71 degrees, but feels a lot warmer than that. Anyway, so we just now followed a pilot car for another 30 minutes, which was, you know, unfortunately the battery cut off while I was in the middle of talking about that, the construction that was going on. Anyway, no, brother, they just let a bunch of cars go and I'm gonna have to wait here. Anyway, one thing I wanted to talk about was there was a woody 1940s woody station wagon. When I say woody, I mean real wood on the side with one of those little, you know, eye drop, teardrop, whatever trailers. And here's more construction coming. And it was just the coolest thing in the world. We passed him going the other direction, so he obviously made the drive up to Deadhorse.